So let me ask you something. What if the best version of you, the one who's living your absolute dream life, already exists? Like right now. Today, we're going to dive into this really cool concept called timeline jumping. The whole idea is that manifesting the life you want isn't about creating something from scratch, but about stepping into a reality that's already out there just waiting for you. And the source material really kicks things off with this question. It's a powerful one, right? Could your perfect life be just one timeline away? It kind of flips the whole goal on its head. It suggests that maybe you don't have to build it piece by piece, but that you just need to find the doorway to a life that's already finished. To get our heads around this, the source asks us to just imagine. Picture a version of yourself whose latest book just shot to the top of the bestseller list. Your phone's blowing up with speaking gigs, and nobody's even questioning your fee. Or hey, maybe that version of you is stepping off a yacht somewhere in the Mediterranean. Her skin's glowing, she's got a glass of rosé, and there's absolutely zero stress. No worries in sight. And that feeling, that's the real treasure here. It's not really about the book deal or the fancy boat. It's about that emotional state of feeling completely and utterly free. According to the source, that's the true destination. So here's the kicker. The source argues this isn't some far-off fantasy. That person is real, right now, living a parallel life. And the only thing between you and her? Well, it calls that a timeline jump. Okay, but wait. This brings up a pretty big question. What about all that hard work we're told to do? You know, the vision boards, the affirmations, the shadow work. Well, the source has a name for this, the manifestation trap. And it looks at why constantly doing the work can actually leave you feeling worse. And this slide just perfectly shows that gap, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the you who's confident, hosting dinner parties with a passport full of stamps. And on the other, well, maybe it's a version that feels a little more familiar, questioning your worth, waiting for things to happen, and just dreading Monday mornings. The difference is pretty stark when you see it laid out like this. And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of that frustration. It describes that painful cycle where the harder you try, the more broken you feel. That constant questioning, am I high vibe enough? Am I doing it right? It can be absolutely exhausting. So how do you get out of that trap? To explain, the source shares this really moving personal story. It's about a woman named Andrea and what she calls her sideways shift. This slide really maps out her whole journey, and it's quite something. It all starts with what she calls the ache, just desperately trying to manifest an ex back until it consumes her. That leads, not surprisingly, to total burnout. But then comes this incredible moment of epiphany. She asks herself this simple question: what if I'm not broken? What if I'm just in the wrong life? And that one thought sparks the shift. She meets someone new, and it feels easy. It feels like breathing. And then finally, the release. The ex does come back, but she feels nothing, because as she says, that timeline is closed. And here it is. This is the single biggest insight from her whole story. The problem was never her vibration, or her energy, or whether she was worthy enough. It was simpler than that. She was just on the wrong timeline. So this leads us to what timeline jumping actually means. It's not about attraction. It's not about pulling things to you from a distance. It's about movement. The idea is that you are the one who shifts into a parallel reality where all the things you want are already there, just waiting for you. Okay, this all sounds pretty wild and amazing, but the big question is, how do you actually do it? Well, the source proposes a really specific method, one that it claims lets you make these jumps while you're asleep. The solution that's offered is this digital audio program, and it's called Timeline Jumper. And the central claim is pretty bold. It says it does the work for you by tapping into your subconscious while you're sleeping, which bypasses all the doubt and resistance from your waking mind. The process itself is laid out in 4 really simple steps. First, you download the audio. Then you just pop on some headphones as you're getting into bed. You fall asleep and you let the audio do its thing. And the last step is to use their app to track what they call timeline markers. You know, little synchronicities or weird coincidences that show a shift is underway. And it's set up as a whole system, not just a single audio file. You can see all the pieces here. You've got the main sleep audio in the app, of course, but also these other tools with some pretty interesting names, like identity scripts, and even a protocol for how to collapse the old timeline. It's all designed to help support that shift. So this all circles back to the core philosophy of this whole thing, which is shift, don't attract. Let's really look at how the source sets this idea apart from the more traditional ways of thinking about manifestation. This slide just lays it all out so clearly. On the one hand, you have traditional manifestation, which is framed here as requiring effort and force, and often coming from a feeling of I don't have this. But on the other hand, you've got timeline jumping, and that's presented as something effortless, gentle, a simple shift into a reality where abundance is just the default setting. And here's really the ultimate point. The goal isn't to erase who you are and build someone totally new. It's about aligning with the version of yourself that already exists in your best reality. It's about becoming more you. And just for full transparency, the source lists the price for this whole digital program at $37. It also comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. And the logic they give is pretty simple. Timeline jumping either works or it doesn't. You'll either see the shifts or you won't. And that brings us to the end with the final question the source material leaves us with. It's a really good one to sit with for a minute. Are you here to just watch your best life from the sidelines, or are you actually here to live it,